Hi, I'm Chris Testerman, Customer Relations Manager at IX Web Hosting. Tell me if this sounds like something you've wondered about. You've been looking at what web host you want to choose to host your sites. You probably looked at many, if not dozens, of hosting companies, and they're all the same. They all have the same features for the same prices. They all claim the same world-class service. Heck, even their sites look the same. So how can you tell a good web host from a bad one? How do you pick a good web host? I'm going to tell you the one thing that really matters that a good solid web host should have, and that's size and experience. It lets you weed out the mom and pop operations and the nerds who are selling hosting from their basements. So if you don't want to run into any of the problems that so many people have with their hosting companies, you should look for a host who's been in business for at least 5 years and who has at least 50,000 accounts. Now you can probably imagine this isn't something that most hosting companies are comfortable talking about. But we want to be as transparent as possible with you and earn your trust. Heck, we figured if you're going to be part of IX Web Hosting, you probably want to know a little bit about us. We've been in business for 7 years as IX Web Hosting and 10 years overall. We have more than 115,000 accounts and we host over 470,000 websites. But that's not the only thing. You've probably heard the saying that behind every great man, there's a great woman. And behind every great company, there's a great group of people that run it. We have a team of over 100 web hosting experts that ensure you get the best quality, for making sure your site is up all the time. And you can find out more on exactly how we do this in the Uptime tab. To making sure that if you have a problem, you get help quickly, and that you can actually talk to a person here in the US who speaks clear English. We even have a team of researchers who constantly look for new ways to come up with new features and make your hosting account and control panel easier to use. What many people don't know is that it was us who created a lot of the standards you find in other hosting companies today. We were the first to provide unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and free domain registrations. We were even the first to provide unlimited domains on a single hosting account. Before that, you had to get a separate hosting account for each website you owned and pay every time. Let's talk about reliability. Some of our competitors are quite good about this, but most of them go cheap here. That's because they claim nonsense like 99.9% uptime and not actually provide it. So why is that nonsense? Well, an uptime guarantee is kind of like Ford providing you with a guarantee that your steering wheel won't fall off while you're driving. If it happens anyway, you're screwed. Most web hosts will get away with giving you a nice apology and a free month of service if you're lucky. That's just not cool. So if uptime is truly important to you, don't settle for meaningless guarantees. I'll show you exactly what we do to make sure your site never goes down. Let me pull the curtain back and bring you to our server room. At IX Web Hosting, we have a Tier 3 N+1 redundant data center. This means we have everything that's required to maintain the maximum uptime possible, plus one extra backup for all of your data. So why is this important? Well, let's say the server's power source gets overheated, a common issue for all web hosts. In that case, what usually happens is that the server shuts down and takes your site down with it. But as you can see, we have more than one power source, so if that ever happens, the power gets transferred to the other outlet and your site doesn't even notice the difference. As a secondary backup, we have 2 industrial diesel generators that will start up in seconds in case of a power outage and can run for 24 hours non-stop. And if 24 hours aren't enough, it helps that the oil company with which we have an emergency contract is right down the street. The thing is, you have to make sure that the servers don't overheat to begin with. That's why we've developed a cooling system that goes directly through the racks and keeps the servers cool 24/7. We monitor the temperature of each server rack, and if it's ever just 1 degree off, one of our IT managers gets notified immediately to come and fix the problem. But don't worry about all the technical details. Here's what all this means to you. You don't have to worry that your visitors are going to get one of those "server is down" screens, which makes you look unprofessional. Instead, you can focus on the things that are important to you. Just imagine your visitors can't access your site, or even worse, you can't access your business's email for a day or even a few hours. That's lost revenue every minute your service is down. We know how valuable each second is to you, and we're taking painstaking efforts to prevent this from happening. Whether it's making a blog to connect with your friends, or if you have a Fortune 500 company with thousands of employees, your website will have a solid network to rely on. Despite all the claims of safe and secure that web hosts like to make, I can guarantee you that all web hosts are the targets of hackers 24/7, every day of the year. You already know that because even the White House and Pentagon get targeted too, and they're the guys with the multi-billion-dollar budgets. In fact, more than 20% of all sites on the internet get hacked every year. It's only a matter of time before a hacker finds your website. So what is your web host doing about security? Here again, the sad truth is most hosts talk a good game, but do very little. I'll tell you what we did. I found the guys who literally wrote one of the most respected books in the world on network security. They just started a firm, and IX Web Hosting is one of their first customers. They created a patent-pending malware analysis system that identifies pages on websites that contain hacks or malware infections, as well as specific malicious code that has been injected into each page. And it does this by performing 3 main tasks. Number 1, monitoring services. This checks your website on a regular basis against various blacklists, including Google, Firefox, Norton SafeWeb, and McAfee Site Advisor. It'll instantly notify us if the site is ever placed on a blacklist. Number 2, discovery services. This determines if your website has been infected with malware by parsing through all of your site's files and discovering any malicious content. Number 3, recovery services. This automatically filters out the malicious code on each infected web page and corrects your files so that your visitors will not be exposed to any more malware. It helps to instantly remedy problems without disrupting the experience of your visitors. So if this sounds too technical, here's the summary. We pay these guys big bucks every month just to have their software scan all our customer websites for vulnerabilities and report them to us, which we fix automatically and then report to you. Now, does that guarantee a hacker-proof world? Of course not. Nobody can do that, but it's way more than most hosts do. Unlike other hosting companies, who just leave you hanging with a basic hosting account and a ton of questions, we understand you might need a little more. You might have questions like, how do I create a great-looking website? And how can I get tons of traffic to it? So here's what we'll do. In the first couple weeks of your new hosting account, I'll show you how to build a great-looking website. I'll show you how to set up your domains, I'll show you how to effectively use email, and I'll show you how to easily manage your websites. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to deliver video to you online where I walk you through the process. You'll know everything you need to build a beautiful, professional-looking website in less than 3 days without having to pay for expensive web design. So you see, I'm not kidding when I say that you'll go from web newbie to webmaster. You know, when I pitched the idea of giving all this content away for free, my CEO nearly had a heart attack. You should have seen the look on his face. However, it didn't take too much for him to come around as he saw the value this content would bring his customers, which is ultimately what he cares about, your success and happiness. But in typical CEO fashion, he wanted to calculate how much this content was actually worth in terms of dollars and cents. You know, just for fun, he said. Anyway, he took out his calculator and came up with a dollar amount. When you consider the research and production costs that are involved with creating a professional video series, he said we could probably sell this for around $2,000. So he's feeling generous today, and this content is yours for free. And you get it even if you don't upgrade to a full account. How can you beat that? Now, we only have a small number of spots for our free trial, so for a limited time, you can join the 115,000 customers who already enjoy hosting their sites with us and become our newest member. And with our simple guarantee, if you're not satisfied, simply let us know before your trial is over and you'll never be billed.